You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Iron Lady sings, and that makes it official. Welcome to 60 years and 2,700 episodes of the Chris Voss Show. But we just keep making more brilliant content with the most amazing guests so that you can learn more, do more, be more, or else. Don't make us come over there and make you do more, because your wife does that for you. Anyway, I'm just kidding. Check with her. She's got an honey-do list.
Opinions expressed by guests on the podcast are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the Chris Voss Show. Some guests of the show may be advertising on the podcast, but it is not an endorsement or review of any kind.
Anyway, guys, we have an amazing young man on the show with us today. We're going to be talking to about his insights, his company, and maybe how he can help you as well. Today, we are joined by a wonderful young man. His name is Ryan Root. And Ryan, give us your title and what company it is you work with or you have.
Yeah, sure. I am the CEO of hormonesforme.com. And it's a HRT clinic that has 50 state coverage. We're nationwide. And we also have a what we're calling a Dope Martian podcast, Dope Martian dialed-in optimization products and services, including genetic testing and a podcast that's really going to be informative. But we have a podcast for Hormones for Me, too, that is also very informative about hormones.
I like how you don't discriminate, because, Martians need dope, too.
Yeah.
They need to be dope, or whatever the lingo is these days with the kids there. People can check that out on the websites. There's a big YouTube channel for the Dope podcast, correct?
Yes. Yeah. There's a YouTube channel for Dope Martian and a YouTube channel for Hormones for Me.
So how do we make these moans? Wait, never mind. How do we, give us a 30,000 overview. What's on your website and all that good stuff?
Sure. So the hormonesforme.com website is basically both functional treatment, right? So it's going to lead you into treatment. It's going to lead you into our products and services and some education about, and our platform across social media is also about education about hormones and about, symptoms of when you may need hormones and what they'll do for you and all that good stuff.
So why are hormones important? What are these hormones and what's going on with them? And which store do I go to buy these things? The hormones, that is.
So hormones are foundational signals, right? The hormones are, so when we think about testosterone, estradiol, and progesterone, they are in every single vertebrate. They're in most plants, and they're in even some, like even bacteria and things like that. But in every single,
know that.
So it's a foundational hormone, and it's hundreds of millions of years of evolution. And there's a fundamental foundational problem with the understanding of hormones among the medical community, right? The providers do not learn about these in medical school. It is not in their curriculum. There has also been they have been demonized and stigmatized, and there's many reasons why. There's a coalition of factors that came together to demonize and stigmatize these, when it turns out that testosterone, estradiol, progesterone are some of the most beneficial medications in the history of medication.
Wow.
What I want anybody to understand from this is who watches this or listens to this podcast is that because of the foundational nature in it being one of the most beneficial medications, that and because of current environmental toxins, right? The current state that we live in, environmental toxins, they've been proven to be phthalates, different let's say and plants, pesticides, right? She's like pesticides, herbicides. It's in the food you eat, the water you drink, the soaps you use. There's even receipts, the inks on receipts. These all been proven endocrine disruptors, right? So all these environmental toxins are really significantly reducing people's hormones throughout the world, right? So it's a pervasive problem, much more so than people realize. And And so if you're, many people, and that's at a certain age, everybody should be on hormones, whether testosterone if you're male, testosterone, estradiol, and progesterone if you're female. At a certain age, everybody should be on these. And another thing, again, the demonization and stigmatization, they've been unfairly characterized as potentially risky or dangerous. Every single risk factor has now been debunked. Testosterone in therapeutic doses is not dangerous at all. No danger whatsoever. There is no risk. It is purely beneficial. The FDA has recently taken off the black box warning for the potential increased risk of cardiovascular disease because it never increased the risk of cardiovascular disease. It's actually cardioprotective. They've recently taken off the black box warning for women's HRT, indicating that there's no increased risk of cancer. There's no increased risk of blood clots. Every risk factor has been debunked. Very beneficial. I've seen testosterone get people off of blood pressure medications, off of cholesterol medications, off of SSRIs and depression medications because it's dopaminergic. It gives you a good sense of well-being and motivation. I've seen it get people off of pain medications, including opioids, because it's systemically anti-inflammatory and joint pain. It improves cognition. There's androgen and estrogen receptors all throughout your brain. Improves cognition, reduces the incidence of what's that disease where you forget? See, I forgot.
Alzheimer's kicking in there. Dementia. I have it too.
I need some more estrogen. Right? So Alzheimer's, reduction in Alzheimer's, balance. Right. So one of the reasons as people age, some of the reason for the decline that you see in nursing homes is mostly hormone deficiency. Hormones are metabolic signals, and when your hormones are low, your body will actually use your own body's proteins as a primary source of energy over your fat stores. So you literally eat yourself. And that's why the muscle degrades and people just start, declining. Yeah. And so hormones change your metabolism to preserve muscle mass, build proteins, and use your fat stores as a primary source of energy. So there's also androgen receptors in your cerebellum that are for balance, right? This is also why as you get older, you're more of a fall risk. You actually lose your balance because your androgen receptors, you don't have enough testosterone for balance. So when we give older people testosterone, their balance gets better. They have less of a fall risk for that. And testosterone and estrogen strengthens bones. So if you do fall, then there's a much less chance that much less fracture risk.
Oh, wow. That's important for when old ladies get, what's that, things where their bones get brittle and stuff?
Yeah, osteoporosis.
Osteoporosis, yeah.
That's correct.
You said that. I should. It's the end of the day. I'm clearly suffering from Alzheimer's too.
Yeah, we both have Alzheimer's.
We're both having a brain fog.
We need more testosterone.
Yeah. I was talking to you about the pre-show, and my audience has heard me talk about this before, but I had been working out for like 2-3 years, I think, at the gym, and I made a lot of progress, but I couldn't get beyond a certain point, and I just couldn't build definition. And at a certain point, I was starting to pull injuries. I have to take breaks and stuff. And inflammation will cause your tendons and ligaments to rub against bone, and that's when you get these straining injuries. Oof. I hate that. Tendons against bone. Anything rubbing against bone gets to me.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of people on that talked about testosterone, different things, and for years I've been like, I should just go check. And I tried taking a lot of herbal bullshit. I'm interested in your opinion on this, but I took a lot of herbal stuff that's supposed to raise your testosterone. Like I don't know, St. John's Wort, or I don't know, you know the ones I'm talking about, Fadagio, and all those herbal things. It didn't seem to help much. And then I finally went in and got tested, and they're like, yeah, you're at like 300 on your testosterone. You have almost zero free testosterone, so that's why you're not building muscle, because you have that extra. You're just barely functioning. And so, what are your thoughts on people who try and herbalize the supplement wise the testosterone replacement as opposed to just getting it done?
Yeah. So again, just a little bit so people understand my vast amount of experiences. I've been in this industry for over 20 years. I've successfully guided over 25,000 people.
Oh, wow.
So I've experienced this at an incredibly vast level. So what you experience is what I see most often. I see this all the time. The testosterone boosters just do not actually boost testosterone. It's supposed to be these natural herbs. Now, there's a reason why your hypothalamus is declining, the pituitary gland is declining, and the receptors and the testicles of that actually produce testosterone is declining. And these natural boosters just don't help. Don't help, the organs actually function properly. So what I would say is we would be remiss if we didn't at least offer younger people, because, so believe it or not, one of the stigmas is that younger people don't need testosterone. There's no way somebody in their 20s or 30s needs testosterone, that their testosterone is low and that they actually need testosterone. It's a hormone, right? People have diabetes. Insulin is a hormone. If people have diabetes, we give them insulin. If people's thyroid is low, they have hypothyroidism, and we give them thyroid medication, no matter what age they are. Why, if people's testosterone is low, no matter what age they are, wouldn't we give people testosterone? It's just stigmatized, right? So with the current environmental toxins, the pervasive nature of hormone deficiency, we're seeing people in their 20s with very low testosterone who need treatment, right? So now if we get a younger person, we would be remiss if we didn't at least offer some of these things that may stimulate natural production, endogenous production of testosterone. And we have certain things that we can offer people. What I see most often with younger people, and especially with older people, people are starting to, you start to decline in your 20s, right? And through your 30s, you're declining. And by the time you're 35, 40, especially 45, then you probably need to be on testosterone. Right? Wow. So as you get older, these natural remedies just are not going to help. And just start taking the testosterone. It's the best, most effective, what dramatically improves people's quality of life is just taking directly testosterone.
It did me, man, when I made that switch over. We had an author on the show years ago who did a book about estrogenics, and we've had a few people that have talked about it as well. What he covered was how there's so many estrogenics now, paraben wax, parabens, and other things, and they're in our soaps primarily. They're in our foods. They're in everything. And there's such a flood of this hitting our system from so many different angles that men's testosterone has fallen and their estrogen, of course, has risen, which may explain why they're always crying all the time. And then women's estrogen has soared because of it, to where girls as young as 9, instead of like 11 or 12, girls as young as 9 are getting their periods. And they think that that's something that's causing this huge thing where men much younger than you used to be need to get testosterone therapy. Any thoughts on that from you? Yeah.
They're endocrine disruptors, whether it be, just like you're saying, right? They call them a lot of it is called phytoestrogens, right? And you're right, it's in soaps. So estrogen, if you have these estrogens that are agonizing estrogen receptors, what it does is there's estrogen receptors in your hypothalamus, and your hypothalamus kind of controls all of your hormone levels, and it reads your current hormone levels and then decides whether or not you need more. So it shuts off or turns on production of the hormones. So when you have these phytoestrogens that are agonizing the receptors in your hypothalamus, your body will naturally shut down. Well, so in men, the way that we get estradiol is through the conversion of testosterone, and it happens that way in females too, but they have specialized sacs that actually, where testosterone converts to estrogen and then it becomes an endocrine hormone. It goes in their bloodstream. And where men, it's more of what we call paracrine hormone, where testosterone is converted to estrogen in the individual cells where we need it. So this is one of the biggest bouts of misinformation, is that testosterone is a male hormone, estrogen is a female hormone. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, because we both have it, right?
We both have it. We both need. Females' most dominant sex steroid is testosterone. Females have 10 times more testosterone than they have estrogen.
Really?
The reason it doesn't look that way in the lab is because of the units, right? So it's nanograms per deciliter. Estrogen is measured in picograms per milliliter. But if you normalize those two units, then you have 10 times more testosterone. Females have 10 times more testosterone than they do estrogen.
I'm going to have them lift more stuff then for me.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to call them when I need
more work with all that.
Ladies, there's some moving over here. Can you open the door for me? We have a lot of testosterone. Trust me.
So much testosterone. You don't even
I believe in equality. But no, I mean, one of the things I have is I have a huge 5,000 member dating group that we have on Facebook and on meetup.com. We hold events for them. Mm-hmm. And in talking to the women that are in menopause, 45, 50 plus, even pre-menopause, perimenopause, that's one of the things they need to try and help them get through those periods and into old age, right? And I think a lot of them, they need fix up that way.
Absolutely. And females need testosterone, so we give all of our HRT patients testosterone. We don't have a patient that's not on testosterone. A female patient on testosterone.
Wow.
So it's vital. It's absolutely vital. It has the same benefits for females that it does men. And and I mean, obviously there's just a difference in the dosing, but but they absolutely need females. Halle Berry famously, just like probably 6 months ago, around there, she came on a podcast and said, I use testosterone. It's massively beneficial. You should all look at utilizing testosterone as well. She started to popularize it for females. And now we have there's the urologist, Kelly Casperson, right, is a famous urologist that works with the FDA, and she's trying to get an FDA approved version of testosterone for females. So it's the education is moving in the positive direction, but it was so demonized and stigmatized for so long, and it's got a long way to go.
Yeah. Well, I think if you tell women, hey, we need to give you more testosterone, they're like, what? I mean, peace,
Yeah, and it's just because of indoctrination, right? Like, just testosterone's a male hormone. You can look up at Harvard Medical. You go there right now. Say ask Harvard Medical what testosterone. It will say the male hormone. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's no reason to gender specify these hormones. Right? Just because men have more does not mean that it's just a male hormone. Like, it's vital in the female. If you think about it in terms of females have less of it, so fluctuations they notice more, right? So if they have just a little fluctuation, then they'll notice that more. Then male has so much, a little fluctuation you don't really notice as much.
Yeah, you just get those morning tents in the bed.
Yeah.
No, I've heard a lot of women getting more testosterone. It's actually taken their marriages where maybe they have a very dead sex drive and they're kind of lethargic and stuff. Suddenly they just turn into a 30-year-old young lady again, and their husbands love it. So there's something about this.
We did some podcasts on couples doing HRT together. One of the things, like when TRT was 15 or 10 years ago, when TRT was more acceptable for men, you'd have just the male doing testosterone replacement therapy, and then he feels a lot better. He's more motivated. He's got a huge libido. He's doing better at life. He's looking better because his body's recomping. He's getting to the gym more. And then the female feels left behind, and that can create some animosity, right? Some disparity in the way they feel. And I've seen that be a problem. When couples do HRT together, you should do it together. Then you're both progressing. You're doing this thing together, right? And you both get to enjoy advancing and progressing and feeling better together, and it brings people closer together. We did a whole show on it where we looked at a bunch of different couples who were doing it together. We went through Reddit and found these Reddit posts where these couples were doing it together, how much closer brought them together. So yeah, it's important. It's important for both of you to do it together, and then people feel closer together. Their sex life improves. Everything improves.
Yeah, sex life is good because, like I say, I've always operated. I mean, young, I kind of figured this out. I was like, it seems like when you stop using those organs, that you seem to have a shorter lifespan. And basically, I mean, it makes sense. The universe goes, hey, man, we need you to procreate or at least take care of the kids. But you're kind of taking all that. You got the kids out of the house, and we're going to move you along.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I want to be chasing the girlfriends around the bedroom till I'm 110.
110. Yeah. Well, if you think about it this way, you make a really good point. And if you think about it this way, that we evolved, one of the main reasons for one of the main meanings of life, right? The reasons for living is to continue our species.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why libido and procreating is utmost importance. It's why you have such a high libido. And by the way, this is a whole nother thing. I'll get to it in a second. So libido is very important, and it's a sign of health. One of the last things to go is your libido, because you need to procreate and continue the species. And even when you start to become a little unhealthy, you'll still have a libido. When your libido goes, it's one of the last things to go. It's a sign of really your health is really failing.
Really failing.
So we see it all the time. We have females, no libido, right? And we give them some testosterone. It's not just that the testosterone just directly affects libido centers of your brain. That's not what it is. It's health. There's testosterone, there's androgen receptors inside endothelial cells. And when you agonize these, it creates NO2, which dilates blood vessels. So there's more blood flow to the brain. More blood flow brings more nutrients, more oxygen. So that's a big factor of why your libido increases too. You're healthier. Your brain's healthier. You're getting more blood nutrients, right? Yeah. And also, we start reversing metabolic disorder. We improve insulin sensitivity. Testosterone improves insulin sensitivity, right? It reverses diabetes. It reverses metabolic disorder.
Wow.
Everything just starts improving, and that health just kicks in, and your libido kicks on too.
For me, the one benefit that I had no idea that was going on was I was living in brain fog. And I had reached the point where I would go to bed, and I would just be like, I was just here 5 minutes ago, getting out of bed. What the fuck happened today? And I was just barely functioning, doing the basics. I mean, we do 3 podcasts a day. You can measure, I did something.
Yeah.
But I wasn't getting those bonus things like you want to do. You're like, hey, I got some things I want to work on. I want to get some time.
Yeah.
And I just felt like just a driven mule. And I literally crawl into bed and I would sit there and be like, what happened today? Mm-hmm. And the third day, when they gave me the clinic shot in my butt, the third day when it all stopped, the heaviness, the most of it dropped, I started coming out of brain fog. And I remember doing the podcast on a Monday. It was like 11 a.m. was the first show. And I did it. And I was like, oh, thank God it's midweek because I'm tired of this already. And I looked at the clock and the calendar and I was like, why the fuck isn't it Wednesday right now? What is going? What? It should be Wednesday right now. Mm-hmm. And then the second show I came out of, and I was thinking, oh, yeah, now it's got to be Wednesday or midweek. And then I was like, it's still Monday. And then I did the third show in the afternoon, and I got done, and my brain was literally going, oh, thank God it's Friday. Weekend's here. We're good to go. I mean, I had a week brain fog delay system going on. And then I spent the rest of the week just going, why the fuck is it still today? And then I went on I was in between podcasts on, I think, the Tuesday, and my dogs wanted to play. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go play with them for a half an hour, and then I got to do the show. So I went and play with them. I even scrolling TikTok, going through stuff. And then I'm like, okay, it's been a half an hour. I'm going to go get on the podcast. And I looked at my watch and it'd been 10 minutes. And I was like, I know I've been here for 30 minutes. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And it's like living in a weird world all of a sudden. And then I said, okay, well, I'm going to play with my dogs for 30 minutes again. And fuck it. There'll be a bonus for them. So I did that. And then I looked at my watch and I'm like, it's 30 minutes. And it'd been 5.
Oh my God.
And suddenly the time slowed down and I could hold every minute and I could be like, I want to do something. Okay, well, I did that. Oh, that only took 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. I have the rest of the day, and I was living in this fierce brain fog, and it was so great. So let's talk about some of your offerings on your website. What do you do for people? Walk us through the process of how people can engage with you and utilize your services, what you do for them.
Sure. So the first thing we do is, a lot of people are reticent, they're not, again, because they've been inculcated their whole life that testosterone may be bad, it's risky. It's really not at all. People shouldn't be reticent to start. If you have symptoms of hypogonadism, there's no risk in starting a regimen of testosterone. Mm-hmm. But people are, and we get that. So the first thing I say is let's get blood work and let's aggregate all of the information that we need and let's talk about it. We'll give you a deep consultation, right? And we don't charge anything for that. You just you sign up, you go through the process to get your blood work. If you have blood work, we'll take it. We have third-party blood work companies that work with us to give our patients discounts, very, very fairly priced blood work if you don't have it already. Mm-hmm. and we just get your blood work and we'll go over it with you.
Yeah. I've been telling my blood to get a job for a while, so I need it to go to work for me.
Blood work,
because it's not paying rent very well.
Well, so then we'll do, we'll give you a thorough consultation and then just give you our opinion on what would make you feel better. And then we make the process easy to get a telemedicine. You meet with a provider. The provider will go over everything, over your blood work and go everything, and then prescribe you the medication, and it's just shipped right to your door.
Oh, wow.
You show up in a week and it ships to your door. We have education on how to take it, like everything to do. There's all kinds of routes of administration. We explain everything to you. We talk to you, make sure that we understand what you're comfortable with, and tell you what we think you should do. So within there's also genetic testing, right? So let me give you an example. I had a patient recently come to me from she was at a different clinic, actually. She wasn't with us, and she came to us. She had a stroke not too long ago. She was only in her 50s. She had a stroke, and then her clinic kind of freaked out. They wanted to reduce her doses and everything, and hormones don't cause strokes. That's not like that's been debunked. There's been plenty of studies, no evidence that. In fact, testosterone reduces blood clots.
Yeah, you think it would, yeah.
Clotting factors. It reduces clotting factors. So we knew it wasn't that, and so her medical team was working with her, and I said, well, they have to do all these clotting factors. The only reason somebody in their 50s would have a blood clot is if they have a genetic predisposition for a clotting disorder, right? A mutation. So we said, your general practitioner should run all these tests for, and so they did, and sure enough, she had a few of these clotting mutations, right? It was like an antithrombin and a thrombin mutation.
Wow.
Right. So those are clotting factors. So, and so immediately I'm like, why did we have to wait till she had a stroke to test for these?
Oh God.
Like everybody this should be like a baseline test it doesn't matter when it's in your genes, right? We can test you at a teenager. We can test you in your 20s, like just to know if you have this. And then we could have put her on a proper protocol to mitigate the clotting risk with blood thinner. We could already had her on a mild dose of a blood thinner, right? So why didn't we test for this? Also, MTHFR, the motherfucker gene, right? It's not super uncommon for people to have this, and if you don't process B vitamins correctly. So if you don't take the proper methylated B vitamins, then you can live a life of despair with no energy, just this insane fatigue. It's just a genetic disorder. We have a genetic test for it. Why doesn't everybody test for this? Why is this a common thing that you test for in your teens to see if you have this genetic mutation, and then you know how to set the rest of your life up?
Oh.
Instead, people have to sit there and live these lives of despair and go, something's wrong. And someday down the road, maybe you'll get tested for it if you have a provider that will do it, or maybe you'll never know. Live this life of massive fatigue and lethargy, and you never knew why.
Oh.
So why aren't we testing everybody for these things? So also the BRCA, the BRCA mutation for increased cancer risk. Like, why doesn't everybody just know this? There's some things you can do if you know you have these genetic disorders. So what we're doing is we'll have all of this ready for you, and we make it as affordable as possible. A lot of them are not that expensive. And everybody will be able to test for mutations so you can know and set your life up properly based on all this knowledge. Like, why isn't this common? Why aren't we doing preventative medicine? And everybody in their teens are testing for all of these mutations that we know cause problems as you get older. And you can prevent strokes, you can prevent cancer, you can prevent utter fatigue. So that's what we're doing. So we'll have all of these options available. We're going to have, and it's all about a lifestyle as well. Like, when you started taking testosterone, right? It helps. It's dopaminergic. It gets you motivated and energy, and things get better. But I bet you also wanted to go exercise more, right? And you wanted.
Yeah. Oh, I started developing muscle. I couldn't develop my chest at all.
Yeah, right.
I just could not get my chest to work. Yeah. And as soon as I did, my chest started filling in and gearing up, and it was great. And then I got hernias. I got one of those bad bodies that loves hernias. But it did help, and I still have a lot of that base.
Yeah. So long-term health, preventative health is it's about lifestyle change. So testosterone is the foundational step. Get your testosterone in the right order. That'll actually motivate you to want to go do other things, to lose weight, to get to the gym. And then, what I usually say is, if people are obese, like it was an antiquated notion that you don't give obese people testosterone, because if you lose weight, then your testosterone.
Really?
It is. It's like the medical community believes that. And we find it not to be true. People who are overweight it's the chicken before the egg. Like, it used to be thought, well, you're fat, so therefore your testosterone is low. Stop being fat, and then your testosterone will raise. And we find it's not true. It's actually, you went into metabolic disorder because your testosterone was low first, and that's what made you gain weight. This is why people, as they age, keep gaining weight. And so they just say, stop being fat and your testosterone will raise. How long have we just told people to stop being fat? And how much has that worked? That's been failing since the beginning of obesity.
Yeah. It's like the war on drugs at this point.
Yeah, exactly. It's been failing since the beginning. So we have to come up with other solutions. Get people testosterone. It increases tyrosine hydroxylase, which increases dopamine, serotonin, norepinephrine, epinephrine. It gives you energy and motivation and a sense of well-being to get up and do better for yourself. So now you start going to the gym, you see some results in the gym. That's also dopaminergic. Now you're building something and you're like, okay, I'm liking what I'm seeing. It makes you want to put down the donuts, put down the cake, and get to the gym more and more. Yeah. And then we've built long-term health, right? So we have that platform. We're going to teach you. We have personal trainers. We're going to teach you how to exercise. We have nutritionists, registered dietitian and nutritionists. We're going to teach you how to eat properly, how to reverse metabolic disorder. So it's the whole lifestyle. It's not just here. Take, most clinics now just take testosterone, get out of here, and boot you out the door and hope everything goes well. Right? We're going to show you everything.
Awesome sauce. Now, one of the arguments I always have with my clinic, I've got one of those clinics, and I don't know if you want to throw some shade or, show your competitive advantage over, say, the localized clinics, over, working directly with you guys. But, one of the things they have is, like, they want me to stay in the hundreds. I've gone up to 1,100 accidentally through their thing.
You felt
and I did. I felt like I'm making fucking bucks.
There's
but then they're like, you might get prostate cancer, colon cancer. Yeah, we got to take you down to 800 to 900. I'm like, no, I really love it up here. And what are some differences between you guys and working with one of those pop-up places? Yeah.
So we because we go on the data and we have the most knowledge of any clinic in the entire country. I have a unique history. I got into this at a very young age. And I made my entire life about this at a very young age. I studied biochemistry and hormones in college. I've been in this industry for, again, over 20 years. I've successfully gathered 25,000 people through the use of hormones. I've just aggregated more empirical data than just about anybody else in the country, probably the world, just because of my unique history of getting into this at a very young age and doing nothing but this, studying solely this field. So there's just massive data that we've aggregated. And what we find is that the most consistent benefits come from just testosterone levels that exceed the normal range. And if you feel providers, there's a fundamental foundational problem with the education of providers regarding hormones. They do not learn about this in medical school. So they have a fear of the unknown, right? They don't know what testosterone above this quote unquote range, this normal range will do. So they're afraid of it, and they don't understand it, and so they actually have worse protocols. The range is completely arbitrary. It's rooted in nothing real. There was no science done to show this is, yes, inside this range is where all the biochemical reactions are happening properly, and anything outside this range is dangerous. That's not where the ranges come from. It comes from, the testosterone range comes from 4 studies. All it did was find an average of these studies, and then they used a statistical equation, statistics, not science, statistical equation to come up with a percentile outside of this range. So it's just statistics and math, not science and where are your biochemical reactions happening properly. And they come up with this big, large, huge range. And what we find in studies and what we see from the data is the middle to lower quartiles of the range, people are actually suffering from hypogonadism or low testosterone. They have metabolic disorder, depressive disorders. All the problems are starting middle to lower quartiles. You want to be the top or a little bit above the range. And that's where the most consistent benefits are. There are no silent killers. It has been widely debunked that you could get prostate cancer. That has been completely debunked. There is no risk of prostate cancer. Debunked. We give the urologist, God, I'm going to forget his name now. Man, I need more testosterone. My brain.
Yeah, we both do, probably.
I
didn't get mine yesterday. It hasn't kicked in yet.
Abraham, he's a urologist. He's a renowned urologist, Abraham.
I'm going to pour some of my coffee here. That's usually how I take my testosterone.
He gives his prostate cancer patients testosterone. He's been doing it for many years, and he's never seen any increase in the progression of the prostate cancer. I've never seen any issue with giving them testosterone while they have prostate cancer. Never. And so it's been completely debunked. Cardiovascular disease. Testosterone is cardioprotective. If you take testosterone in therapeutic doses, you reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease. There was a study done in 2022 in this business. We call it the Finnish study. Largest study over the longest period done. It was done on 70,000 men. And there was a control group with no people who do not use TRT and people who do use. The end result of the study was that people who take testosterone have lower all-cause mortality than people who do not take testosterone.
Holy shit.
People who do take testosterone live longer than people who don't. And this is just a fact now. It's just an absolute fact. Wow. So, this is a part of what we do. We have to normalize this discussion. We have to debunk the myths. We have to throw it in people's face that, listen, you've learned the wrong thing for decades.
Yeah. Maybe they keep you low so they keep you coming back. Maybe, I don't know.
When you start to look at the facts, right? I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't like going off in these crazy directions. When you lay out the facts, and I have a few videos where we've laid out all the facts, it really looks like there was some intentional suppression of testosterone. Again, when I told you all of the conditions that testosterone reverses, the drug companies make a lot of money on those conditions. Blood pressure medications, cholesterol medications.
Oh, yeah.
Number one, everybody's on a statin.
Yeah.
So when we get people off of those with testosterone, we're really hurting the bank accounts of the drug companies. So it can go pretty deep. But when you just lay out all the facts, you're like, okay, it really looks like something fishy's going on here.
Yeah.
Why is one of the most beneficial medications in the history of medications so stigmatized? It wasn't in the 60s when they started developing testosterone. Yeah. Testosterone was actually started to be commercialized in the 30s.
Yeah.
And through the 60s, there's a lot of studies showing a lot of benefits. And that's when they started creating all the other things like nandrolone and oxandrolone.
Roxandrolone, did you say?
Oxandrolone is...
Oh, Sandrolone. I thought
it's
you were
another
naming a song by the Police. Roxanne. I'm just...
You can play with the testosterone molecule and you get other androgens. And that's where like some of the other steroids come from.
One of the ways I cheat them is, and they're always like, why is he so high? I get a double dose of what's the 8 inside HRT? I get a double. It's the thing that makes your ball. It tells your balls, signals your balls. Hey,
HCG.
HCG. I get a double dose of HCG. It actually allows me to cheat. I end up with more testosterone than.
Yeah. So what is your protocol? Like, I'm going to get.
I don't know what and we'll probably talk after the show about this because I've been looking to quit doing this because I'm tired of driving the clinic. It's expensive. It's about $400 a month. I don't know the dosage.
How much less it is through us. Like we try to be one of the most competitive companies in the country. I guarantee I can run circles around anybody in the clinic that you're using.
Wow.
Knowledge and understanding of how to do this. Plus, we'll let you stay at 1100. We'll monitor the rest of your markers, make sure everything is in adequate ranges.
I'm popping a 10 right now.
You feel good. You are healthy, right? There is no silent killers. You're not going to suddenly pop up with prostate cancer. You're not going to. It's not like your heart's just going to explode. That doesn't happen. That's not a real thing. If there is a long-term adverse consequence that's going to happen, it will manifest in the way you feel and in your blood weight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you start feeling like crap, then that's a sign. Okay, something's wrong. Let's adjust something. Or it would take ignoring a bad side effect for 10 years before you actually had an adverse consequence. Right.
Now, you guys handle peptides. What are some of the other things that you guys handle that you utilize in helping people get up there?
Yeah, so we have good deals on all the GLP-1 medications as well. So we have the best pricing in the country of semaglutide, tirzepatide, and there's some of the other peptides like for wound healing, BPC 157.
Oh, really? What's that one peptide that like NAD plus?
Yeah. Yep. NADs. We have NAD available, right? It feeds the Krebs cycle. So we have that.
I should have one of my roid buddies come on the show to help me with the questions.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of roiders that they do their own experiments. They're just basically they do a lot of experiments to figure out.
A bodybuilder. So the bodybuilder, like, so strangely, it's not even when you understand the worlds, right? It's not strange, but the bodybuilding community is light years ahead of understanding the mechanisms of action, how to use all these derivatives, how to use these peptides. They're light years ahead of the medical community because, again, just like you indicated, it's a vast trove of experimental data.
Yeah.
Data that comes out of all these people that experiment on themselves. And that's the best way to learn is like, okay, let's try these things and see what happens. When you have millions and millions of people to do that, you get some pretty good data out of that. And the medical community, again, it's all stigmatized and demonized. They don't learn about it in medical school. And then they eschew it and stay away from it. And they think it's evil. So they don't ever use this stuff. And then when you have this whole community that actually uses it and is very successful with it, and they're actually very healthy, then you have a lot more information than the medical community.
So what else do people need to know about what you do? Maybe I haven't asked you about and covered, so we can make sure that people really have a good understanding of everything you do there.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that it's more about again, destigmatization and normalizing the discussion, right? If you're having fatigue, if you're not feeling like you did when you were in your early 20s, it usually can be attributed to, at least part of it, to the foundational hormones. And once we get your hormones right, there may be some other things that we can work on, but the foundationally getting your hormones right first, and then let's work on some other things. That's what I said about. Now we can see what else is going on. Do we need to add some peptides for you? We can get your nutrition in order. We can get your exercise in order. So it's more about all-encompassing lifestyle, right? And health and preventative medicine instead of the typical medical community's reactive medicine. We'll wait till you have a stroke and then try to figure out why you had the stroke. We'll wait till there's cardiovascular disease and then try to figure it out. No, we're going to be preventative. We're going to be proactive. And that's what we're about.
I mean, I feel healthier. I'm at 58 in a week or two, in 2 weeks. I feel healthier than I've felt in the last 20 years. I feel like I'm 30. I always had a pretty good sex drive and sex life because I used to own a modeling agency, and I've always been single all my life. So I couldn't afford divorces. I'm still saving up. I've got about $5 million put aside for my first marriage for the divorce, but I think I need a little bit more.
You're picking that special lady to give half her.
Yeah, she's gonna be real special to have my shit. So maybe I'll buy two. No, well, I am in Utah, kind of visiting, so that's legal here. And Utah jokes. One thing that was kind of interesting. I'm making a show about me. I usually get a shot once a week, and that's usually what I do. And I get the two SGCs.
Yeah.
And then I get the one shot, and I don't know what the dosage is. I'm an idiot. I just never ask. I got things to do, but I'll find out, of course. But they do my blood work. The other thing they give me is an estrogen blocker. It used to be I'd take one on Monday and Thursday. Now I just take one a week. Yeah. And, I was pretty fat and heavy and still kind of am. And so my body just loved to eat testosterone, the estrogen, and would like, reading all your testosterone.
So you're on a poor protocol, right? So the whole idea that you should do, the Endocrine Society wrote worse protocols, right? And what's insidious is that you go to your endocrinologist to understand one of your major endocrine hormones, because you think that they do, but they don't. They do not learn about this, just like nobody else does. So the protocols were terrible. Like if you look at the Endocrine Society guidelines, it says to take 1 milliliter, 200 milligrams of testosterone cypionate once a month or once every 2 weeks. Right now, the half-life of testosterone cypionate for most people is about 2 to 4 days. Right? So what's going to happen if we take an injection once a month? You're gonna go up. You're gonna peak in about 2 to 4 days. So we'll say 3 days. Yep. And then in 3 more days, you're going to come all the way. That's the half-life. So in 3 more days, you're all the way back down to where you started.
Yeah.
You're going to live out the rest of that month in utter despair. And I bet you that you don't feel quite as good the day coming up to your injection than you do like the day after your injection.
Yeah. Or the third day. The third day, man, everything's on.
That's why you should do at least 2 injections per week, because we stabilize your levels. What you're doing is you're going up here, and then you're coming all the way back down, and you're back down to hypogonadism, to your low 200 or 300 nanogram per deciliter state by that 6th day, by that 5th or 6th day.
Yeah.
So to stabilize your levels and keep you up here, you do more injections. You do at least 2 injections per week, and sometimes some people need more because people process it at different rates.
Let me ask you about that, because about a month or 2 ago, I wanted to do twice a week. Because I've been seeing stuff from guys like you online, and they're like, you should do daily, and we do this. So I went to my doc and I said, hey, can I try 2 days a week so I don't have this curve that you're talking about? And like, sure. And so we did that. I think I went in on like Monday and Thursdays. And
drive to the freaking, that's just stupid. They make it's just you can do it yourself. It's not.
Yeah, I'm tired of doing the drive. And they're in a real shitty location for traffic. Anyway, I started not feeling great with 2 shots a day, and I started feeling really bloaty, estrogeny, And so after about 2 weeks, I quit it. I don't know, maybe it's because they got me on this low dosage to try and keep me at 800 or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, but for some reason, I was just like, I want back to a week. So I don't know. I guess I need to talk to you some more.
Yeah. And it could be because you're just like you were saying, right? They probably just split your dose in half, right? You're on a dose that's only going to get you at 800, right?
Yeah,
which is a pretty low dose.
Really?
And then they split that in half. You're taking 2 super small doses, and your testosterone levels aren't going high enough. So you don't feel the effects, right?
Yeah.
So
I love that 3rd day effect, though.
It's about giving you an adequate amount of testosterone and stabilizing you at that level that makes you feel good.
See, on my 3rd day, all my muscles come alive. I wake up like fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
me too.
That's when your testosterone peaks.
Yeah. Usually, something else wakes up in the morning too. That wakes me up. I'm like, hey, I'm trying to sleep here. He's like, we can find checks. And I'm like, seriously, I'm 58. Come on, man. Give me a break.
And you don't need an aromatase inhibitor either. Like that's just a fallacy, right? Like testosterone's a male hormone, estrogen's a female hormone. It's just ridiculous. Right? Testosterone, we evolved to convert testosterone to estradiol at a certain rate for a reason. You need it. Men need it. If you crush your estradiol, you're going to feel like garbage. So it's more about giving you the right amount of testosterone and letting it convert, but just not letting your levels spike too high. So when you take one injection that's too large, your testosterone spikes, and behind it comes a spike in estradiol. And it's about keeping those spikes down and just keeping your levels stable.
Well, my blood work always looks good when I go in. In fact, I'm surprised. I'm like, I'm still alive? That's weird. But evidently it's been going well for me. So we'll talk after the show about this. If I'm out there listening to the audience, how do I reach out to you? How do I find out more? How do I get to know whether or not you can help me and get involved and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah. So just go to hormonesforme.com, and on that website, there'll be different things you can learn, but on there will also be an email or a phone number you can call, and you can either email or call, or we just have a simple, if you hit there's a get started button, you hit that, it will lead you into a process to aggregate all the information we need. It will show you how to get your blood work, or if you have it, it'll show you how to upload it, open an account, upload it, and then fill out some forms for some information that we need. And then you'll get to a consultation where somebody will talk to you and they'll walk you through everything and explain everything on your blood work and go over your blood work with you. And we'll just take care of the rest, and we'll take good care of you. very, very, very reasonable price, significantly lower.
Yeah.
You're paying $400 a month.
I think, and like months that have a fifth week, that's an extra 100.
For testosterone protocol for us, it's like, I mean, we do by the treatment period, but it comes out to about $90 a month. You're paying $100.
I saw these people that were like yourselves that were talking about, and it was much cheaper. And I used to be not a needles person until this shit started. I've been super healthy all my life. I've never needed a lot of shots for anything. I never go to hospitals. I never go to ERs. I mean, I've just lived an immaculate life. I don't even know why I had health insurance up until about 56. It was the biggest waste of money ever. If anything happens to me, you give me some penicillin, and that's like my magic drug. You get penicillin, my body's like healed. I could be dead, and if you shoot penicillin at me, I'll like wake up and be like, I'm fine. It's a flesh wound. Where's my lower half? So yeah. And people can learn more through your podcast as well. We'll give a plug for that as we come around.
Yes. Yeah. So Hormones for Me on YouTube. We have educational content. It's across all social media. We have a Reddit forum as well. And we're on Facebook. We have a Facebook forum where you can go in there and ask questions. And there's people who are current users, and a lot of our, we educate everybody. So a lot of our patients are really educated. We try to teach everybody. It's the whole teach a man to fish. Like if I can teach you about your hormones and I can teach you why certain things happen and what you should look out for, then you'll be better at dialing yourself in than even I can, because you're the one feeling the feelings, right? Yeah. I'm really good at this, but if I can teach you properly, you can do a good job yourself. Yeah. Because you're feeling the feelings. And
yeah. And I when I was at 1100, I felt like I was a god.
We will keep you there.
Probably acting really nice.
1100, there's no problem with it. We don't have any adverse consequences from that.
Is there a cap that, do you recommend a certain thing, or does it depend on each person's body type and their genetics?
It depends on each person. So that's the thing, right? It's not about putting everybody in this box and saying I want everybody at 800. That's ridiculous. Hey, I want everybody at 800. I want everybody at this level. I want everybody in this box on a certain protocol, on a certain dosage, on a certain a certain blood level. It's ridiculous. If anybody who does that is not good at this, because it's not the way it works. Everybody's is very unique. We have customized protocols. It's about developing a methodology to figure out what yields the best results for each individual, right? I can give 1,000 people the same exact protocol. I'm going to get 1,000 different responses.
Wow.
So it's about, again, developing that methodology to figure out what yields the best results for each individual. And that's how we do it. It's a game of adjustments, right? Like we give you this, if you've had something that's working in the past, then we can use that and we can build on that. Okay, how are you feeling? Okay, let's adjust this. It's a game of adjustments. See how you react, make adjustments based on how you're feeling and what your goals are. How you feel is much more important than the numbers on that blood test. Too many people get sidetracked and focused on the numbers. Oh, I need to be in this range. It's not like that. If your SHBG is high, like you said, your free testosterone was low, right? Well, your SHBG is high. You need a certain total testosterone to SHBG ratio that you have to maintain, or you're not going to feel good. Your free testosterone is going to be too low. So some people have higher SHBG, so you need higher testosterone. So we have some people who don't feel good until they're at 1,800.
Really?
SHBG is higher, right?
Wow.
We have, I'm
going to take 10,000 then. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know if that's might get a little roid ragey maybe if you do that. I don't know.
That's another myth, unless you take.
I'm just. Yeah.
But roid rage is also a myth. Like most people they feel better. They become more altruistic, and their emotions are actually much more stable. Because testosterone also does. It controls sense of well-being and emotions, and you come out of fight or flight states, so you're not so defensive all the time.
Yeah, my steroid friends say those guys with roid rage, they are mucking with they're playing games, experimenting with the chemicals, maybe, or maybe they're not getting good chemicals or something.
There's one anabolic steroid called Trenbolone that I will say that one might cause people to be a little angry if you take too much of that. But for the rest of them, it's a myth. Like they don't cause a rage.
I must have been on that for most of my life because I was pretty angry for the first 40 years.
Yeah. When we find people who get testy and a little irritable is low testosterone or even high estrogen. Like high
really?
estrogen can make people irritable, or low testosterone.
Yeah. I've dated people like that.
A little
irritable once a month. Anyway, well, thank you very much, Ryan, for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. I'm going to talk to you after the show and see if we can get me off this. They were great resources to get me down this road, and I hated needles and pushing myself in. But now I've had 2 years of every week getting my ass hammered with multiple needles, and so I'm kind of over it now. That's only on Fridays we do the other stuff. Weekends at the Chris Voss Show. I don't know what that means. But thank you very much, Ryan, for coming on. Give us your last .com plugs as we go out.
You can find us at hormonesforme.com. We have Hormones for Me YouTube and Hormones for Me. We're kind of rebranding to H4M. But hormonesforme.com will still get you there.
Mm-hmm.
H4M on our social medias, at Hormones for Me on YouTube. And we also have Dope Martian. We have a podcast that's going to be very entertaining and educational.
Dope Martians. Because Martians need testosterone dope too. Or is that how it works? I don't know.
They do. Or they, like, in our advertisements, like you see this Martian and it zaps people. And now their hormones are right and their life is much better. So that's kind of the theme that we go with.
Yeah. Get some Martians to do the thing. Maybe you can get the lizard people that are in the government to. I'm just teasing it. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, thank you very much for coming on, Ryan. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And thanks to us for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, YouTube.com/Chris Voss, and Facebook.com/Chris Voss. Subscribe your friends, families, your dogs, your cats. Get the cockroaches listening to us when they're just sitting around your house eating the pizza bits out from under the stove. Thanks for tuning in. Be good to each. Stay safe. We'll see you next.
You'll listen to the most amazing, intelligent podcast ever to improve your brain and your life. Or too much of the Chris Voss Show podcast can lead to people thinking you're smarter, younger, more irresistible than human regularly moderated amounts. He's the doctor for course brain lead.
All right, and we're out, Ryan.